All right, people. My name is Noah Burton. I've decided to fully lock in and just come back to posting these Miro board videos. If you saw me on here talking about personal stuff and trying to give you guys advice on how to live life, scratch that out of your memory. I still think that way, but I don't want that to be the focus of this channel anymore. Although I do enjoy being a relatable human, it's not what any of this is for. You guys can find a therapist. So, with that being said, I have been asked a few times, not only in the comments of my Twitter feed, but in the comments of videos that aren't even mine, to make a video about what a good DM setting offer looks like. So I wanted to make this kind of like a two-sided thing, right? Because honestly, man, to the dude who wanted to see this video, I think he's a young cat. I don't remember what his name was off the top of my head, but I think he's like 18 or something like that. Um, Brother, I'm going to be real with you. Being a DM setter is so easy. It's ridiculous, right? Not hard. That's why, at my peak, I think I stacked like three or four of these offers and I made probably like, you know, a good amount of money, like 8, 9, 10 grand a month doing it, right? Just stacking these offers. I probably worked a few hours of the day. Like, it's not hard, right? But because it's not hard, I need to clarify two things, right? So this first part is going to be for the business owner, right? The business owner who watches my videos, comes to my page, whatever it may be, and wants to understand what a good DM setter looks like. And then on the other side of that, I'll talk about what a good DM setting offer will look like. And it'll be very simple. This is also going to be a good way for you to filter, I guess, if your offer is going to be good enough for a DM setter, right? So ultimately, what does a good DM setter look like? What a good DM setter looks like is this guy right here, Noah Burton, me. I'm the best. But in all seriousness, right, a good DM setter is a closer without closer time, right? What that means is you want a DM setter who is good enough to get on a phone call and close a deal, right? That does not mean that they've paid an excessive amount of money for sales training. That does not mean that they are an experienced closer. That does not mean any of that, right? I think that anybody who is making a hiring decision for a brand, for a company, should be able to determine if somebody is a closer or is not a closer, right? Within an interview. Okay. Because ultimately, there are some intangible traits that you cannot teach a closer, right? You cannot teach a person to make them a closer, right? You can have all the reframes, word tracks, whatever, and not be a closer, right? So if you can deduce that somebody is a closer and they just don't have enough time to be a closer, maybe they work in tech sales, maybe they're a football coach or something like that. They used to sell cars and now they just love coaching high school football. I don't fucking know, right? Whatever it may be, they're a closer who does not have enough time to close, right? So if that is your case, right, they need to understand how to write out a close, right? Now, this would be considered more, honestly, direct response copywriting, right? You want somebody who understands the way that words will play with your brain a little bit, right? And understand the choice of wording will have a different effect on your decisions based on simple things, punctuation, the synonyms that you may use for a word, right? Like in some certain, I'll use this, right? For an example, if you're talking to somebody about, income, right? You're asking them their goals and, they're talking about how, I just want to make more money. I feel like there's more money out there, right? And you say, okay, well, like, realistically, how much do you make right now? And they say, oh, I mean, I'm pretty comfortable, right? I make 60 grand a year. A good DM setter is going to say, oh, dang, man, I'm sorry to hear that. I guess how long have you only been making 60 grand a year, right? And write that out just like that, right? A bad DM setter is going to say, oh, yeah, 60K, that's not bad. How much do you want to be making, right? It's extremely similar, but when you write those things out and you give somebody something to chew on when they read those words and they say, damn, is this bad? Wait, this guy just said he's sorry to hear that I make this amount of money. Is this bad? Right? Simple things like that are how you write out a close, right? And then from there, you don't push too hard, right? Simply put, when you're in the DMs, you cannot close the deal in the DM, right? I've done it before, but I've done that with the backing of a very strong personal brand and a funnel that put the price in it, right? So sometimes people just want to pay in the DM. Sometimes it just went that way, right? Now, I give myself credit for building the trust and rapport in the conversation, but ultimately, the brand was good and the fucking price was in the form. So they saw it no matter what. If somebody had the bread and they wanted to pony it up, I'm not telling you no, right? So ultimately, I didn't push too hard at any point, though, on other people. I wasn't like, yo, you need to buy this if you get on this call, right? Never did that. Generate interest, pitch the call. So you need to know you need to know what makes a good prospect show up and pay, right? You need to know how to lead that conversation in a way from the personal brand that you need to know how to lead that conversation from the personal brand in a way that will give them a reason to show up and pay, right? Oh man, my allergies are killing me. My bad. But yeah, ultimately, you need to know how to lead and guide somebody and give them enough reason to be interested enough to want to spend money, right? You don't block your time off. As a good DM setter, I don't care what anybody tells you. It is not something that is, you're not working on a fucking schedule. You're sending text messages and getting paid for it. I hate this. I hate this so much because people will be like, oh, yeah, man, I want to be a DM setter. Like, how many hours a day do you think I'm going to work? Like, yeah, man, I have some time after work and I think I can do the DMs. No, you can't. You absolutely fucking cannot do that, right? Because if you logically think that the only time of the day a business worker or business owner is actually working is after you get off work, you are sorely mistaken. And the prospects that are trying to talk to them all day do not give a shit that you are at work, right? It is not hard to respond to text messages in Instagram. It's not, right? It is insane. It is an absolute blessing from God Himself that there is a way to make money from doing that, right? And you are ridiculous if you think that, oh yeah, man, I work 9 to 5 at, fucking corporate Goy Slop Corp, and from 6 to 9, I'm gonna DM set. I'm gonna make 10 grand a month. You're an idiot, right? That's stupid, and that is not what makes a good DM setter. Ultimately, right? You're gonna be responding to conversations all day. You're going to look like the most popular man in the world or woman in the world because you're going to be talking to a lot of people throughout the day, right? Name of the game. You're constantly closing as a DM setter, right? What that means is you are always pushing the ball forward. You're always trying to pitch somebody on, getting somebody on a call. You're always sending a new DM. You're always doing something. You're constantly pushing for closes, right? Now, if you are not a closer with closer time, right? If that's not who you're hiring, you need to hire somebody who has strong written communication, right? They write how you write as the offer owner. They understand how the front end of your business works, right? They understand what your funnel is and they can explain it back to you. They understand the tone of the brand and they understand how to communicate the marketing, right? These two things, they go hand in hand. If you're hiring somebody, they need to know who you are, what your brand actually stands for, and how to communicate what you're saying in the marketing, right? If Andy Elliott, for example, had a DM setter, his DM setter he better be fired up and saying some gangster shit to people in the DMs, calling them fat and telling them they look stupid, because that's who Andy Elliott is in his marketing, right? And then on the opposite end of that, if you have a female who teaches women how to, recover their bodies after they've like had a baby or something like that, like, do you think that person is really going to be popping their shit In the DM, probably not, right? So from there, they communicate the marketing and they let the closers close, right? They don't try to close these people in the DMs. They know that there's a hierarchy to the sales teams and the closers are closers, right? And they let them close, right? They make it way easier for the closers to close and they understand that's the point and they understand how to do that. And ultimately, if you are not hiring a existing closer with no closing time, the number one thing that anybody you hire on your team should know is that the brand health needs to be optimized for the long term, right? Whoever you have in the DM literally represents the personal brand at that point in time, and they are you, right? They are the offer owner, right? No matter what anybody wants to say, like, having that one bad DM conversation with a personal brand can literally tank the personal brand. Genuinely, right? If you put some VA from Malaysia in your DMs and he gets pissed off one day because he's just been hit with the 17th tsunami of the week or whatever, like there's no justification that you can give Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, a news outlet, if your VA went and like called somebody a slur in the DMs or something like that, right? That's obviously very extreme. But what do you think happens to your personal brand whenever the idiot that you hired because they were cheap said something crazy and then it got screenshotted and blown up and now you're circulating in the public eye for the wrong reasons, right? What do you think? Like, do you think that you have a brand much longer after that? No, you don't, right? So whoever you hire has to be in alignment with you, right? They have to be in alignment with your brand, your company, your mission, your goal, and they have to understand that the brand health long term is the most important part. We'll speed through this part. Essentially, right? Good offer, bad offer. Let's get into them. You'll see this is extremely simple what changes these. As a DM setter, right? If you're looking for an offer that's good, in my experience, right, a base pay plus 5% commission, best offers. I've had plenty of offers give me 2-3K a month basis. It's not that hard. Just go get it, right? Reels that get more than 4,000 views on them, right? If you're working for a personal brand that has 70,000 followers and they get 700 fucking views on a video, right? That's awful. That means that that's inflated and is not actually accurate, right? And there's going to be no trust in that brand either. They need to be getting at least 30 followers a day, right? And they need to be getting followers that are within the ICP, right? They don't run a bunch of excessive lead magnets and they have strong brand trust, right? Now, these last two are extremely important, right? If you're interviewing for a DM setting role, because think about it like this, right? If an offer, the main client acquisition channel is sending people free resources where you have to put them in the pipeline and follow up with them and trust them to use the resource, watch the resource, read the resource. Ultimately, you're playing a long game with those people, which in theory is good, but on the other side of it, it's a funnel that's optimized for a phone setter to call, right? It's not optimized for a DM setter to text you about it, right? Because they probably got that free resource sent to them automatically. They didn't get it sent from the personal brand, and they know that, right? Ultimately, you would be in a better position if you just had strong brand trust and you outbounded followers in the ICP every day, right? And when I say outbounded, I'm saying they follow from a follow ad or whatever, and you hit them up and you say, yo, I appreciate the follow, and you go from there, right? Ultimately, there's going to be more money for you to make there quicker than if, the offer you work on is just blasting traffic to lead magnets, right? Ultimately, right? Now, if there's a bunch of inbound leads and everything, that's different if they're like doing keywords and stuff like that. But I think that's slowly starting to diminish in the space, in my opinion. I could be wrong, though. Let's see, where's my other box? These are the bad ones. It's pretty much the opposite of what I just said, right? Subpar views on videos, wrong ICP, niche is too broad, right? I don't know. I don't want to be a real estate wholesaling DM setter. I don't want to be a wealth planning DM setter, whatever. Like I don't want to do that. It's too broad, right? And somebody who has no authority in their niche, you don't want to work for them. If somebody has 3,000 followers, no case studies, and they look like a gump, like everybody's going to think that, right? You need to evaluate that yourself before you interview them or interview with them. But yeah, ultimately, that's not what you want. And really, they have no trust building assets visible, right? This is the thing that will trump all of this. If you work for somebody and they can bomb everybody with hours of testimonials, brother, sister, whoever's watching this, I would take that in a heartbeat, right? Because you can negotiate a higher percentage if they have a bad like brand presence, right? They don't have a lot of followers in the moment, but they have great social proof. Dude, fuck, take 10%, right? Or 10% plus base, like whatever it may be. Like I would take that and I would run it to the moon because a good product is going to find its way in front of a good audience eventually, right? As long as the offer owner doesn't quit one day, you are eventually going to hit a gold mine, right? And you are going to have a very active and pivotal role in the scaling of that business. And ultimately, you're going to end up making videos like these one day, right? If you can't tell how my journey went. But, right, that is, in my opinion, the best case scenario is that you get on an offer where they have like 5K followers and they're getting 25, 30 followers a day, but they can bomb you with testimonials. That's where you want to be. You want to be able to bomb somebody with the middle of the funnel and build a brand with them, right? Ultimately. But if they don't have any of those things, do not work for them. Don't even like unless they're giving you a good base pay and they have a verifiable OTE of like 5 or 6K a month, right? Like don't beat your head on the wall for it. There's no reason to. I wouldn't ever do it personally, and neither should you. So, yep, that's what you're looking for when you're looking for a good DM setting role. Now that I'm making this video, I might go get another one of these roles. Honestly, I forgot how easy and fun it is. Um, yeah, so thanks for whoever asked me to make this video. Because shit, man, I might go stack 3 or 4 of these again, man. Might make myself a little DM setting agency or something like that. But who knows? My name is Noah Burton. Hopefully, offer owners that helps you hire a good DM setter so you're not finding the Alibaba guy. And DM setters looking for offers. I hope, even though it's very simple what you should and shouldn't avoid when you're looking for an offer, I hope it helps you, right? Because it's rooted in truth and experience. And it simply does just come down to those things, right? As to what you should and shouldn't go for in an offer, right? I hope this helps everybody. My name is Noah Burton. God bless you. Peace.